Hello friends and welcome back to our smokehouse. Today we're going to be doing some St. Louis style ribs on my new offset smoker. So stick with us and we'll get right to the video. So the plan today is to cook these ribs around the 250-degree range, somewhere along with that. We're going to season these things up with some coarse black pepper. Going to add a little Lowry seasoning salt, and then we're going to top that off with some Legs original barbecue seasoning. So that's what we're going to do today as far as seasoning these things. And we're going to put them on the smoker for about around 4 hours probably, or until we get the desired bark we want. Then we're going to wrap these things. And when we wrap these things, I'm going to be mixing up some Sweet Baby Ray's original barbecue sauce. I'm going to add probably about a quarter cup of Golden Eagle syrup. And I'm going to add probably about just enough apple cider vinegar to thin that stuff down a little bit. And right before wrapping, we're going to put that on the grill, let it heat up, and then that's what we're going to use on the ribs when we wrap the ribs. And then right at the end, we're going to, when those things are finished, we're going to pull them off and sauce them up one more time and put them back on to tack that sauce up a little bit. So that's the plan today. Okay, here's our cut of ribs. It's a nice looking cut. St. Louis ribs, got some good marbling, some good meat. Gonna flip these over and season the bone side first. So first thing we're gonna do is hit them up with some coarse ground pepper. Not real heavy, just lightly. Then we're going to come back with some Lowry seasoning salt. Not real heavy on it either, just kind of dusted. Then we got some Legs barbecue seasoning that I really like. We're going to season. The main seasoning is going to be this Legs original barbecue seasoning. So we're going to go pretty heavy with this. Pat that in real good. Then we'll flip them over and do the meat side. Same procedure on it. First, a layer of coarse ground black pepper. Then a layer of Lowry seasoning salt. Now the leg seasoning. Noticed I didn't use a binder. These ribs are pretty moist. And personally, I don't really like to use a binder unless I have to. I don't want nothing to come between that seasoning and the meat. Alright, so we're going to let these set here until the pit gets up to temperature and that rib starts sweating, and let that seasoning start sinking in. So we'll get back with you later. Alright, we got a pretty clean fire burning there now. If you noticed, that original stick of hickory I put on there is about to burn down. And I put a couple of chunks of apple wood on there. So I'm going to be using a mixture of apple wood and or hickory today as we cook these ribs. So the grill's getting up to temperature. We got a good fire going, a good bed of coals, so we'll be putting these ribs on pretty soon. Alright, our target temperature today is 250. The grill's hit 250. We got a fairly clean smoke and fairly clean fire burning right now. So we're going to go ahead and put these ribs on. Notice how that seasoning is sweated. The ribs are sweated and that seasoning's adhering to the meat. That's why I don't like to use a binder. You don't really have to on ribs. So that's looking good. So these fixing to go on the pit. Alright, if you notice, I got a water pan under there. Got a water pan to keep moisture in the cook. I'm going to place them right about there with the thick side of the ribs toward the fire. So we're going to close the lid on this thing, get these things going, and we'll probably check on them about an hour and a half, see if they're dry or need spritz it or anything. So we'll get back with you then. Alright, our temperature hadn't quite reached up to back up to 250 after I added apple wood. So what I'm going to do here, it needs a little more air in the firebox. I have this little piece of brick right there that I just put under the lid to hold the lid open. You notice the vents are all open over here. And now you can see that fire burning real good in there after I opened that lid just a little bit. So we're going to leave it like that till the temperature gets up back to around the 250 range. Now we see the temperature beginning to climb. So we're going to leave that lid vented until we get up to where we want the temperature. All right, now our temperature stabilized close to the 250 mark, so we went ahead and closed that firebox lid altogether. And notice the pit temperature according to the grate probe, and then the gauge on the lid. So we see that's reading 350. So it's about 100 degrees difference in that, and that's why it's important to use a grate probe so you'll know what the temperature is on the grate in order to get a good cook. So I just wanted to point that out to you. That gauge is located up higher on the lid and not grate level, so that's why the difference is. We probably about an hour and 15 minutes into the cook, I noticed the temperature started to drop some, so that's an indication that you need to add another stick to your fire. So let's check it out. Yeah, looks like it's burnt down pretty good there. I'm going to arrange these coals a little bit. This time I'm going to add a few chunks of this apple. We're going to let that get to burning good, and then we'll close our door. I really like the way this thing holds temperature, but you know, really determining the temperature you want is the size fire you build. Sure, you have to add or tend to it a little more often, like add more splits, but if you build a small fire initially, then you can judge that by what temperature you want. This thing's been holding pretty steady around 250. So I'm real happy with that. Looks like that's burning good. So we're going to catch up, shut the lid and let that burn for a little while till we need more wood. Since we just added another split, we're going to go ahead and check the ribs and see what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and spritz them again. I don't want them to get real dry. You notice this cut's got some thin meat right there. So I'm going to just move them back a little bit away from the heat. So I don't want that small point to overcook. So we're going to leave them right there for a while and let them ride. Alright, we're about 3.5 hours into the cook, and I've got pretty much the bark that I want. So we're going to go ahead and wrap these. Got a mixture of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, some Golden Eagle syrup, and some apple cider here that I'm going to be letting them wrap in. So what we're going to do is just put some of that down. Get our ribs off. There's what they look like. We're going to put meat side down on this foil. Then we're going to come back with the rest of our sauce. We're just going to brush that on them like that. I got 2 pieces of foil here. We're just going to wrap these up. Like that, then they're going to right back on the pit with the meat side down. Probably going to let these go for about 2 hours. We'll get back then. Alright, these ribs are ready to come off, and flip them over and let them back on the grill for a few minutes. See if we can flip these over without them coming apart. Oh yeah. Got some good pull back from the bone. So what we're going to do, put them back on, we're just going to brush them good. This sauce. Just makes a little boat out of this foil. Put them right back on the pit for about 15-20 minutes. Gotta let that sauce tack up. Okay, they're done, so we're gonna get them out and check them out and get a taste test. Look there, what a beautiful color they got. Pull back from the bone. Let's brush them with some of this sauce. Right, we're gonna go in right there and cut one. Man, these things are just so tender. They're falling off the bone, folks. That bone just come right out. Well, folks, the bone just fell out of that slice. I think I got them a little too tender, but I think they're going to be delicious. That's what it looks like. Let's get us a bite of this. Oh my goodness. That is so good. So good. We're going to call this cook a success. Even though they are fall off the bone, I'd like a little more bite about them. So maybe I don't need to leave them in the foil as long next time. But man, I can't complain about these. They're delicious. I love the seasoning and the rubs we used. And the sauce that I mixed up, it just gives it a wonderful flavor. So I hope you got some value out of this video. I hope you like my grill as much as I do. It's not as hard to control the temperature as I thought it'd be. The main thing is just don't build a raging fire and start with. Keep your fire small. You have to add splits pretty often when you do that, but at least you control the temperature very well. So after I wrapped them and put them back on, I just put me a bed of charcoal down just to keep the temperature up, because it already had all the smoke they're gonna give. So that's what we did. And that way we don't use as many splits. So I really enjoyed this cook, and I really like these ribs. I want to say God bless each and every one of you. So until next time, keep on smoking. See you later.